Good afternoon. How are you, Joe?
Good. I know it happened, 8 weeks ago, but it was a very serious incident.
It was indeed. I actually checked. It was the 25th of March, because that's when we went out. I was contacted by Garda Shane Doyle in Cabinteely. He rang me at 2 a.m. in the morning to tell me that my son Kieran was at the station, very shook up, but that he was okay. And he had got a taxi from Leeson Street, and see, all the young lads now are going around with the taxis and saying, how much will you bring me out to home for? How much will you bring me out? And anyways, he came out the N11, he turned down, left down into Brennanstown Road, and he said, show me your money. And
so your son was on his own in the taxi?
In the car, in the front seat.
And did he say to the taxi driver how much is the fare?
Yeah, he said to get to Shankill it was going to be €22.
20.
And he said, show me your money. And Kieran said, yeah, here you are. And the taxi driver got out of the front seat of his car, opened the passenger side and gave Kieran such a wallop that stunned him, pulled him out of the taxi, took all his money and his iPhone. And Kieran, anyway, he stood up and the taxi driver drove off, and he was trying to hail cars down, but nobody's going to stop for a young lad in the middle of the road. But he had the sense, and he ran up to Cabinteely, and as I said, a lovely, lovely young Garda there, Shane Doyle, took all his details, and they took it so seriously that we were asked to go down the following day to make a statement, and we were driven into town all around the taxi to see if he'd recognise the taxi.
And did he get a good glimpse of the he's obviously a rogue taxi driver.
He is, because when we went in, his iPhone, which was a Christmas gift to him, because Kieran was exemplary because our other son had been seriously ill, so I wanted to get him something special. So I got him the iPhone. And when we went in to report the iPhone missing, the chap in Dunleary said that this was the fourth incident in a month in the Killiney, Dunleary, Shankill area by a taxi lad. And you see, the taxi men are picking up young lads with a few drinks on them, and giving them a dig and taking their iPhones. The iPhone he was really after, because Kieran had about €30, but he stole all the money.
And did he get a good look at this taxi driver?
Oh, he got a good look at him. He was a Dublin man, Dublin accent. And he got, it was an 08 car, and we went in, and as I said, the guards took it so seriously, and they couldn't have been nicer to Kieran or indeed the family, and wrote out a letter saying if he was in any way in a crisis, who to contact, and they were absolutely exemplary.
And no word since?
Not a word. But you'd tell your children to get a taxi home to be safe, but when they get into a taxi and your man gives them a dig, and it's the fourth case in the Shankill, Killiney, Dunleary area.
You see, I presume it's relatively easy for these guys to get a bogus taxi sign and throw it up on the roof. And,
oh, sure.
That's
unfortunately, I think that's what happened, because from what I know, it's the same guy, and this is why the police were treating it so seriously.
What, they reckon he's done other...
Yeah, he's done other young lads,
And was he operating alone?
He was.
He's definitely
on his own, and just, the young boys go up and down, how much will you take me home for, how much will you take me home for, they're bargaining, and your man said, well, hop in, I'll bring you home. But he didn't bring him home.
Yeah.
You can imagine the fright you get at 2 a.m. in the morning that your son is down at the police station, and you're just hoping that he's okay. And ironically, Kieran was in Dundrum shopping centre, and a young lad in a hoodie stole this woman's iPhone from the table, and the wife started screaming, and Kieran ran after him and the husband of the wife, and they jumped into the car, and Kieran said, go up towards the Lewis, and Kieran spotted him and ran after your man and got the iPhone back, and we got the most beautiful letter from this man to congratulate Kieran on turning out to be such a young gentleman, that he went way beyond the call of duty.
Okay, it's a warning to people now.
Which I've always told people when they're getting into a taxi, just take the number down. And even, ironically, even if they take the number down, your man's going to steal the iPhone or their phone that they have the number in, and then he's selling it off to somebody else who's selling it to young lads then for 200.
But your point is, you reckon the Gardaí are taking this very, very seriously?
Oh, very, very, very seriously. As I said, I got a lovely letter from Garda Shane Michael Doyle. I'd like to make Shane Michael Doyle, and the superintendent of the Cabinteely wrote us a letter to say how seriously they were taking it.
Okay.
So it's just a warning to all the young people out there, to be so careful in the taxis.
And for people getting into a taxi on their own. So, but I'm also thinking of young women getting into a taxi on their own.
I'd be very, very worried about it. I mean, I had my
No,
niece.
well, remember, there's so many taxi drivers. 99.9% are absolutely brilliant and would bring you home safely and insist you got home safely. But if you have rogues like that, it's worrying.
But we've always told them, and from now on, they always get the taxis together. And, you know, if he's coming home now, a pal will stay in our house, or if he's going home to another pal, he'll stay in his house, but they'll get taxis together. And indeed, my niece, who's from Galway, she got a taxi out to my Cullen, and your man locked her into the car. But she managed to get out, you know. So you have to be, the young girls have to be very, very careful.
Okay.
But there you go.
Okay, thanks indeed. Thanks.